Okay, today we're going to make the iPhone beanbag stand. And the first thing we need to do, girls, is make the pocket. And the whole reason for this craft is to teach you how to do an applique. So if you ever want to do an applique quilt, this is how you go about doing it. So this is really the most important part, but if you really don't like it, you don't have to do this part. You can just skip on and just do the iPhone stand. So what you need to do is decide what colors you want to use, and I'm going to hope that your mom's got some scrap fabric around the house, and you're going to decide what color you want to do your flower. Now you could do it all in one color if you want to, or you can do it in multicolors like I did here, but you can go and decide what colors you want to put on your iPhone stand. The next thing you need to do is take the template that I sent you and cut out 6 of the flower petals, and they will look like this out of the poster board. You're going to take one of your pieces of scrap fabric and you're going to lay it on there, and you're going to cut it out so that it's just a little bit bigger than the template, like that. Then you're going to take a needle and thread. This takes time, but it's fun. And you're going to start on the edge. You can see I've already done all of these, so I'm a bit of a step ahead of you. You're going to take a couple of little stitches right here at the beginning, maybe a 1/4 of an inch up from the bottom for a knot. And now you're going to run a tiny little gather line all the way around the outside edge of this scrap piece of fabric that you've cut out of with your petal pattern. And I'm using a white so that you can see what I'm doing on this darker fabric. And I'm just going to stitch around it like so. I hope that you're enjoying these crafts that I'm sending you, because I've enjoyed making them for you. I've enjoyed doing the videos. And a lot of times it's a lot more fun making the project than it is actually having the project. So I'm letting you make them. And Mom gets to keep the sample. So everybody wins. I get to make one for me. You get to make one for you. Mom gets the sample. I get a sample. It's all working out just great. Okay, almost there. Down to the bottom. And when you bring your needle out, you want it to come out on the top, not on the bottom. Makes it a little easier when you go to pull your template thing. Now you're going to take your little poster board and you're going to lay it in there like so. And now you're going to pull your gather thread, and look at that. Ta-da! There's your flower petal with a nice, neat side seam or edging on it. Okay, so pull it tight. This part always bunches up, which is frustrating, I know. Try and keep that flat. You basically just want to have your gather lines around the top, like that. And then just take a couple of little stitches here to knot it off. And now you're going to need your iron turned on, because what you're going to do now is you're going to go over to your iron and you're going to press this so it holds its shape. Okay, so I'm going to go do that. Cut this off. You're going to have to hold it over like that when you go to iron it. But go iron it and come back, and then I'll show you the next step. Okay, there it is. It's all ironed. It's laying nice and flat. So now I'm going to take the cardboard out, because we don't need that anymore. And the little end generally doesn't, I generally don't bother with ironing the little end. But now I'm going to find a spot where I want it on my pocket. And I'm going to lay it on there like that. Make sure I get it evenly spaced between the other flower petals. And now I'm going to put a pin in it to hold it in place. Denim is not the easiest thing to work on either, girls. So, okay, now I'm going to show you how to tie a knot. I just use a single thread. When I applique this on, you're going to lay your thread on your finger, lay the needle on top of the thread. You're going to wrap it around the point, so you're wrapping it away from your hand like 3 times. You're going to pinch that, and then you're going to push it through, hanging onto it, and when you get done, there will be a knot in the end of your thread. I'll do it again so you can watch one more time. Lay your thread across your finger, going away from you. Lay your needle on your thread. This is going away from me. Lay my needle on my thread. Wrap it around 3 or 4 times. Pinch it. Pull the needle through. And when you're done, you have a knot. Very simple. Okay, so now you're going to bring that needle up through the fabric, the denim, right along the edge of your petal piece. And now we're going to do a ladder stitch. You're simply going to slide your needle right along that inside fold. Okay? And now right where it comes out of the thread, you're going to push your needle down into the denim, right at that point. Just popped out right at that point. And you're going to bring it up just a short distance down and have it come out right along the edge of the petal again. And pull your thread through. Now, right where the thread is coming out of the denim, that's where I'm going to slide it into the fold of my applique. Right into that fold. And bring it on down a little bit further. I hope you can see this. Okay? And pull it through. And now again, where it's coming out of my applique, that's where I stick it down into the denim. And I bring it up just to the edge of the flower petal. And I pull my thread through. Now when I pull this tight, you'll never see that thread. It just disappears. All right, so you'll never know these were are already all stitched on using this technique. So now again, this is where it's coming out of the denim. I'm going to go right into the fold of the flower petal, slide it through that fold, and come out about 1/4 of an inch down, maybe 1/8 of an inch. Into the denim, come up, and pull. Go into the fabric, come out a little ways down. Oh, my needle just came off. Technical difficulties. But when I pull, you can't even see that white thread. It's gone. It's inside. And I'm going to go all the way around, doing just that. Now, it's in the fabric. So into the denim and up alongside the fabric. This is going to be in my way, so I'm going to take it out now because it's pretty much stabilized where it's going to sit. Into the fabric. It's hard for me to do it this far away, but I'm getting there. Okay, there we go. caught on the corners. Okay, it's in the denim. Nope, it's in the fabric, I'm sorry. Go into the denim and out. Now, like I said, you can do whatever color you want. You can make it all one color. If you want to do that, you can make it multiple colors like I did on this one. You choose. I'm going to send you the denim pieces, and you can use the scraps of fabric that you have around the house for the remainder of it. By the way, we won't tell Grandpa, but these are his pants. They had a huge hole in the knees. I fixed them once. They tore out. He wanted me to fix them again, and I said, nope. So now they are going to be your cell phone holder. Okay. And I'm getting a little sloppy. Those didn't quite go underneath the way I wanted them to. Again, it's because I've got them too far away. I can't really see what I'm doing, trying to do this under the camera. But you can see the other ones. You cannot see any of the thread on them. And those I did holding them closer to my eyes. You could also use a matching thread if you wanted to. I wanted to do this to show you that if you do it right, you won't see the thread. I did a whole quilt like this for Grandma, for her bed. Took me forever, but it came out beautiful. And it's something you can do at night while you're sitting in front of the TV set or watching your videos on your iPad. Whatever it is you do to relax, this is what I do. Almost there. Okay, now I'm down to the end. So now I just want to take my needle and I'm just going to push that end under, right like that, and stitch across the end to hold that end under. And I got to get one more on the side here to bring it into the corner. And now across the bottom with a couple little stitches. And I'm going to take one more on the side, just a little one, just to make sure I got the side caught over here from where I started. All right, now you're just going to push your needle and thread to the back side, and you're just going to take a couple little stitches to knot it off. And that's all there is to it. Now, you go ahead and get yours done and come back and I'll show you the next step, okay? Oh yeah, the center. Just to make sure that you know that you got the size you need to cut your center. You don't want it very big. Just cut it about that much bigger than your circle. And stitch around the very edge of it and pull it. Press it, put it in the center, and there you have your flower. And I kind of like it in all the different colors. All right, so you go get yours done and come back. And we'll move on to the next step. All right, Now I've got all my pieces cut. I got my applique done. And I'm just going to move these pieces out to the side. And you have 2 pieces of denim. You're going to take your pocket and you're going to pin it in the middle of one of those pieces. Right like that. And you're going to stitch around to hold your pocket on. And now I'm going to do that. I will try and move my camera so you can watch me. I got the red thread in because that's what I hemmed it in, because that's the colors I wanted to use. Again, you can use whatever color you want. All right, so let's see if I can swing this around for you to see. Not that I need to show you guys how to sew. You already know how to sew. And I got in my red thread. So here we go. I'm going to try and top stitch right on the thread I've already got, than when I hemmed it. Oh, you really can't see anything, can you? I'll try and readjust that camera in a minute. All right. Now, if you could find some small children's jeans, you could probably just take the pocket right off and use the pocket right off the pants, but these pockets were just too big as they came off the jeans to be used for this, so I had to cut them down. Otherwise, you still would have had your denim seams on the edge. Go slow when you come to that denim hem, because it is thick and you don't want to break your needle. All right, my pocket's stitched on right in the middle, right where I wanted it. Cut off your threads. There. Okay. Okay, now you can see the foot on my sewing machine so you can watch what I'm doing. All right, so next thing we're going to do is we're going to take that little tab piece that you have, this piece right here, okay, and you're going to fold over the edge like that, fold over the edge again like that, and then you're going to fold the whole thing into the middle, and then you're going to stitch down this. All right, so I'll do that one more time. You got this little strip right there. You're going to fold it into the center from one side. You're going to fold it into the center from the other side like that, and then you're going to fold the whole thing in half, and you're going to stitch on that open side. So here we go. Right on the edge. If you want to press this before you do it, that would probably be a really good idea. But I'm not gonna. I'm just gonna stitch it up. There we go. You can see what I'm doing now perfectly. All right, there you go. So you're going to take that off of there now. And now you're going to fold this in half. You're going to try to figure out where the camera is. You're going to fold it in half, and then you're going to lay it on your pocket piece. Here's my pocket piece. You're going to lay it going down into the pocket right in the center. Just like that, all right? So find center and pin it on there. That's where you're going to put it. And then you're going to take your other denim piece and you're going to lay that on top like this here, and using a 1/4 inch seam allowance, you're going to stitch across that, catching that little tab inside. All right, I'm going to turn this around and show you. 1/4 inch seams, that's all we ever use is 1/4 inch seams. So anything that I sew, I use 1/4 inch seams, which is just about the width of the foot on your sewing machine. All right, now you're going to stitch all the way across the top here. Go slowly when you come to that tab. Pull out your pin. Go very slowly over that tab so you don't break your needle. Very slowly. All right, now go the rest of the way across. And there we have it. So now your 2 pieces of denim. You got your 2 pieces of denim. All right, I gotta move this so I can show you. You got your 2 pieces of denim with that little tab right in the middle. That's how it should look. Now you're going to take one of your triangles and you're going to lay the triangle. Here's your pocket edge. You're going to line up the long edge of the triangle with that one pocket edge, and you're going to stitch here, and then you're going to take your other triangle and you're going to lay it on this side, and you're going to stitch here. Now I'll move the camera back so you can watch me do that. Okay, again, 1/4 inch. I'm going to start at the bottom. And you're only going to sew it up to the seam at the top, keeping your edges together. Okay, I only stitched it up to that seam at the top. All right, where's the camera? I'll show you in a minute. Let me put the other side on. And I'm starting at that top seam, and my thread's just all sucked up inside, so I'll pull it out and start it again. Hate it when it does that. Okay, now we got it. And now I'm just going to stitch it down to the bottom. Okay, come back over here and show you. this is my pocket. These are my 2 triangle pieces, and I stitched up to, where is it? This top seam right here. But I did not stitch over it. See how these are just sitting there? I just stitched up to that seam and stopped on both sides. Okay, just stitch up to that seam. All right, now what you're going to do is you're going to take the side pieces and you're going to pull them out. This is why you did not stitch over it. And you're going to lay the triangle in flat this way on the other side so that you're making a teepee with your triangle and your denim. All right, this is the front. This is the back with the pocket. You're going to take your triangle, just stitched on here, and now you're going to fold it over and you're going to stitch it down this side up to where it joins up here at the top. You're going to do one side, and then you're going to do the other side. Here, fold this over onto this edge, and you're going to stitch that down so that you have a teepee. Keep trying to figure out where my camera is. It's out here. All right, teepee, stitch. All right, slide this back over. I'm going to start at the bottom, and I'm going to stitch my way up on this side. And I'm going to go just to that seam in the denim. I'm not going to go beyond it. So now when I'm done, I'll have to show you again in a minute because I can't get it underneath the camera properly. So now I'm going to do the other side. I'm going to start at the bottom, lining up my denim edge with my side fabric, and I'm going to stitch it up just to where it met in with the denim. No further. Now, there's one side. It's all stitched in. I got a nice little teepee there. Then there's the denim side. A little tab sticking out at the top. There's the other side, the little teepee side. And then this is the side with the pocket. So now when you stand this up, it should look like this. Just like that, all right? Okay, we're getting there. This is pretty easy now. We're getting to the simple part. All right, now you're gonna take that other piece of fabric that's about this big, and you're gonna fold it in half. All right. Now, pay close attention on this one as I explain this to you. All right, I'm putting some pins in it just to show you. And let's see if I can find a pencil. Okay, I have a pencil. So one side here, you're going to stitch a 1/4 inch seam allowance all the way across to there. On this side, however, you are going to stitch just a tiny little bit, about that much, and then you're going to leave a space of about a 1/2 inch, and then you're going to stitch the rest of the way across. You're not going to stitch between here in here. You're going to leave that open. And I'll show you why in a few minutes. All right, so go ahead and do that. I will move it over so you can watch. I can't get it any better. This is about as good as it gets. Okay, so one side I'm going to stitch all the way across. And when I get done here, I want you to clip the corner like that, the folded corner. Okay, now I'm going to do the other side. And the other side I'm going to sew up a short distance, back stitch it, and then I'm going to stop, and I'm going to move it up, and I'm just going to do a little tiny seam here at the top. Take it out, and once again, clip off that folded corner. And then you can just cut that thread. Now, do you see how I left that open? That's what you need to do. Leave it open. And now I'm going to turn this and push out my corners. You can push your scissors in there to push out your corners. Get them out. Okay, right like that. And push out that corner. There we go. Fold it over. And now, right where that seam opening is, where is it? It's right here. Right here is the seam opening. Right here at the very edge of this. I will again make a pencil mark. This here is the edge of where my opening is, right here. Right there. I'm going to fold over both my edges because they don't want to stay that well unless I press them, and I'm not big on running to the iron. Okay, you're going to run a stitch line from the edge of that opening straight across to the other side. Right there's the edge of my opening, straight across to the edge. Now mine's easy because it's stripes, and I could just follow the stripe. But if your fabric isn't striped, you might want to draw a line on there so that you get it straight. Okay, next step. Now you're going to take your triangle again, and if you want to turn it out, you can. On the side without the pocket, this is the open end, you're going to place that piece you just made right along that edge, like that. And you're going to stitch a 1/4 inch seam allowance right across, holding that on there. Okay? I'm doing this in 2 steps, so it makes it a little easier for you to follow me. All right, so that's stitched on the side that does not have the pocket at the bottom. This is the part where your cell phone is going to sit on that little thing once we get it puffed up. Now, you have a bottom piece, which was square. There was a pattern for a bottom piece. So what you're going to do now is you're going to take that bottom piece, and there goes Marley. I take it Tucker just got home, because they're all excited. And you're going to lay that right over, this is the little piece you just stitched on. You're going to lay that right over that. And once again, going between the seams, don't stitch over the red. Here's your seam on this side. Here's your seam on this side. Just stitch from the seam straight across. All right, so now it's stitched on, but I did not catch the corner triangles. I did not catch it there, and I did not catch it there. All right, now turn your bag back inside out and take the opposite edge of this piece, the bottom piece right here, and pin it on to the back denim piece. Okay, did you get that? This here is the front. There's that little tabby thing right there. This is the bottom piece you just stitched on, right there. Bring over the back side of your thing, your holder, and lay it on the bottom, lining up your edges. So now it looks like that. Okay, that's your bottom. And that piece should fit right in there. Now we're going to stitch this edge. All right, so now the bottom is stitched in on the front and the back, but it's still open on the sides. The side panels are still open. So now I'm going to flip this and go like this. And now I'm going to stitch my side seams together right here. Right straight across, bottom to side, stitch it across. Oh, one more thing. Make sure you don't catch that little tab that you sewed on in the front. I just felt it there and I got to push it out of the way. You don't want to catch that when you're doing your side seams here. Okay, so now here's one side seam done all along. So now the triangle is completely stitched in on all three sides. And this is what it looks like in the front. Gotta hold it back. Side, front, this side still isn't stitched, and back. And the bottom is done on three sides. All right, so now the last side, you cannot stitch all the way across because we have to stuff it through something, right? Otherwise it won't work. So open it up again and get your sides lined up like that. They should fit right in there perfectly. But when you stitch across, once again, I will take my pencil. You are going to stitch. I'm going to try to get this in the camera view. Well, there. You're going to stitch a 1/4 inch seam allowance across to here, and then you're going to stop, and then you're going to pick up here, and you're going to stitch across to here. So you leave this open, don't sew it shut, so we can stuff it and turn it. We have to be able to turn this thing right side out. All right? So here we go. And again, make sure you don't catch that little tab that you had in the front. It's getting thicker and harder to get under here, but we can do it. All right, make sure you get your edges lined up. Stitch across to here and stop. Pick it up, move it over, put it down, and continue to stitch across to the other side. All right. Whoops, I dropped it. And there it is. Now if you want to trim off some of these corners so they're not quite so thick, go ahead and do that. Just trim off some of the corners. Just be careful that you don't cut off too much. All right, now comes the tricky part. We have to turn this through this little tiny hole. So you may want to leave your hole bigger. I just usually reach up and find a corner. I bring it down. I may have to cut this open a little bit more. This may not fit through this little hole. Definitely got to open that up a little bit more. So make your hole a little bit bigger. This is way too tight. So I'm just going to take out a few stitches, that's all. There we go. That should do it. Just keep working it till you get it turned around. There we go, I got it. It's turned. All right, and pop out your corners and all of your points. All right. So, this is what it should look like. That's the front, right there, with the little thing on the front, a side, your back and the other side. All right, now I sent a pair of hemostats, which I need back, but I sent them so that you can do this project. Take some of the polyfill that's in the kit that I sent you. And I gotta find the pair of hemostats that I'm using. Here they are, right back here. Now remember that little opening that you left in this pocket right here? Well, you're gonna start stuffing it with stuffing. So take little bits at a time and start pushing it in there. Push it all the way over. These would be nice little gifts to give to your friends for their birthday parties and stuff too. You can make up a bunch of these and give them to your friends. All you have to do is go to the Salvation Army store and pick up old used jeans and get them for a couple dollars. If you enlarge the pattern, you could make it for your iPad, but I wanted it for your cell phone. So that's what I did. Okay, a little bit more. I want it really full and tight. You want a nice tight little bump there. That's what's going to hold your phone in place so it doesn't slide. All right, that's pretty good. Right there, like that. All right, little bump. So now you're going to just take and slip stitch that little hole closed. And you're going to pretty much do it the same way that you did your applique. I'm just going to take this thread, and I'll show you one more time while I do this. You're going to put the thread over your finger, heading away from you. And then you're going to lay the needle on top, wrap it around the end of the needle 3 or 4 times, pinch the whole thing, and pull it through. And there's your knot. All right, now I'm just going to slip this in here and come out in the seam, push all this down in, and I'm going to ladder stitch it closed. Now I'm doing this backwards, so it's a little difficult. I'm going to slide it through one side, and then exactly where it came out on this side, I'm going to insert it on this side and slide it through. Just a little bit. All right, there we go. Keep pushing that stuffing down in there. Now exactly where it came out from that side, I'm going to put it in on this side and slide it through. You want kind of little stitches here. You don't want them too big. And I'm doing this upside down, so I'm having a rough time here. All right, now where it came out on this side, put it in on this side. And push it through. Where it comes out on this side, come over to this side and push it through. All right, now I made my stitches a little bit too big because I'm trying to show you they should have been a lot smaller. I'm going to go back over this again in a minute when I have time to do it by myself, but that's the general idea. Then you're just going to knot it off, take a couple tiny little stitches in there to knot it off, And now I always take my needle and I stick it through that knot and I come out somewhere else on the fabric and pull it out. That way my end is buried inside my fabric. Cut it off, and then if it's still sticking out, just give it a little squeeze and it'll suck right up inside. All right, now to stuff this, because I want it to be a bean bag as well as a cell phone holder, because then you could form it to fit around a chair, the arm of a chair, or on your pillow, or wherever you want it. So let me go get set up for that, and when I come back, we will fill it. All right, I'll see you in a bit. All right, I'm all set up. I sent you a bag of crushed walnut shells. That's what those things are in that bag that you received, and these make great pin cushions. You don't need to worry about the rice. If you use rice, it swells up if it gets wet, but this is a good way to recycle walnut shells. It makes a great pin cushion and bean bag. So take the piece of cardboard or the poster board that I had in there that is a half circle and fold it to make it into a cone and cut off the end. So you're going to take that and you're going to insert it inside your hole that you left open on the side. Get a little cup of some kind and start pouring in your walnut shells. It's going to take a lot, so keep pouring. I got these on Amazon if you're interested in getting more. That's good. Now do a good job sewing up that hole. It needs to be small stitches, otherwise those little pecan or nut shells, walnut shells, are just going to leak out of there. So maybe you even want to put in a bead of glue first, hot glue. Just run a bead of hot glue along there, close it up, and then stitch it. Just to be absolutely certain that you've got your seam sewed up good and tight. And then when it's all done, you turn it over like this, and I made a mess here with my walnut shells. And that's the one side. Let me get my cell phone. And now my cell phone fits right in there like that. Okay? And what you do is you put your charge cord through here if you want to, so that you can plug it in, or your earphones, whatever it is, so that they don't get tangled up. And then you got a little pocket on the back to do with what you want. So that is your cell phone. There it is from the side, and there it is from the back. Isn't that cute? And of course it's a bean bag, so you know what? I think I put too much in here. I think I'm going to take a little bit out so that it can form to whatever it is I want to lay it on. But anyway, there it is. And when you see your mom's, you'll kind of get an idea how much stuffing should be in there. All right, well, have fun doing it, and I'll see you when I see you.